What up and welcome to Rama Screen YouTube channel, and here's my review of Peacock's new series, Bupkis. First up, I would like to say thank you to Peacock's streaming service for granting me the screeners to this entire new show. They've asked me to not spill spoilers, therefore this review is spoiler free. I repeat, there are no spoilers in this video review. Okay, the best way to describe Bupkis is Entourage meets Curb Your Enthusiasm. So Pete Davidson here is basically playing a heightened fictionalized version of himself, surrounded by fictional characters, many of whom are played by A-list celebrities. And there are episodes where he sometimes has to deal with his friends and sometimes his subordinates, hence the entourage comparison. And it's also kind of sort of a somewhat semi-biopic in that it takes some elements from his actual life and upbringing, but it's all wrapped in a bunch of mumbo jumbos, just enough for them to have plausible deniability, jokingly of course. But the problem with Bupkis is that it's just not funny. The first episode starts out great, with a couple of scenes involving Edie Falco and Brad Garrett that are meant to be outrageously shocking, and they do exactly as intended, but the quality of the comedy goes downhill from there. Look, I get it, the title is Bupkis, means nothing, so it's trying to emulate Larry David and Seinfeld, shows that claim to be about nothing. But here's the thing, with Larry David and Seinfeld, their genius lies in escalating their stubborn arguments about nothing. Specifically Larry, who insists that he's always right and everybody else is always wrong. Whereas Bupkis tries too hard to end every episode with some moral high ground, and in the process often neglects the humor altogether. Bupkis seems to be designed entirely just for an audience of one, Pete Davidson, which is not how you're supposed to do these things. Showrun by Judah Miller and executive produced by Pete Davidson and Lorne Michaels, Bupkis is a new comedy following Pete Davidson as he attempts to work through unique family dynamics and the complexities of fame to form meaningful relationships. The raw semi-autobiopic series stars Davidson, Edie Falco, and Joe Pesci alongside a star-studded supporting cast in a show that straddles reality and absurdity to best represent what it is to be Pete Davidson. Welcome to Bupkis. I'm telling ya, having Mrs. Soprano play your mother and Tommy DeVito from Goodfellas play your grandfather is pretty cool. The fact that Oscar winner Joe Pesci is willing to grace the small screen with his presence is a big reason why I was ever interested in watching Bupkis to begin with. And it helps because, as unfunny as this show is, it's Joe Pesci's not giving a single fuck, cursing like a sailor attitude is what keeps me seated episode after episode after episode. And Joe still got it, man. I mean, if he wasn't a part of this, I probably would have given up after episode 3. Despite what you may think about the tabloid magazine persona of Pete Davidson, and boy, I would love for him to teach me on how to date sexy famous women. Although Pete is hung like a horse, so he's got that to his advantage. Anyway, despite all that, I genuinely think that Pete is a funny guy. Judging from his SNL sketches, from his appearances on Comedy Central Rose, and I enjoyed his movie, The King of Staten Island. So once I started watching Bupkis, I was expecting to be rolling on the floor, unable to breathe from laughing so hard. But as I implied earlier, the show begins on a high note and then it takes a nosedive from there. There's an episode that basically wants to make fun of Fast and Furious. And I'm like, okay, this seems interesting, I guess. But interesting is all there is to it. It's actually more pointless than anything. Some of the guest celebrities play fictional characters, while others play themselves, like Jon Stewart and Al Gore, but none of the punchlines work and they all fall flat. I think I've told you this before that there's nothing I hate more than a comedy show in which there is a disconnect between what the writers think is funny and what the audiences think is funny. In Pete's head, all these situations are hilarious, but they are hilarious only to him. Look, my read of this is, and I could be wrong here, but Bupkis is a cathartic journey. It's a personal way for Pete Davidson's mental health to share a story of his life with the world. And that's good and all. I'm not gonna poo poo on those well meaning intentions, but they've gotta work better on the jokes because a lot of the times they are all just crass and mind numbing and soulless, which is sad because I really wanted to like this show, but Bupkis is excruciatingly painful to watch. I mean, maybe they'll learn their lessons in the subsequent seasons, but I'm not holding my breath. So, yeah, overall, I give Bupkis the rating of 2 out of 5 for being hugely disappointing. So, that's it. That's my review of Bupkis. Smash that like button, share this video with everyone you know, share your thoughts in the comment section below, and as always, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Let's rock this.